I'm René Bastijans, and my title was it still is, infusing corporate innovation. So I'm going to give you my perspective based on my experience with Pearson and specifically the Future Technologies team, which is, I like to see ourselves as a little startup within the big corporation that Pearson is. And when I say innovation, I mean essentially problem solving, right? Problems that any Pearson business will have in the future, that they're facing in the future, and that they need to address in order to remain relevant to their business, to their customers. And it's also the ability to see a need in the future, and then for us as a team to find new ways, ideally better ways using new technology to address the need. And for anyone who doesn't know who Pearson is, Pearson essentially is made up of these three big brands, or brand groups I should say. The top Pearson is mainly the education business, the world's largest education company. Then Penguin as well, although we demerged Penguin in the summer last year, we still own a minority stake in them, but they're now merged with a German big publisher, Bertelsmann, to form Penguin Random House, which is the largest English-speaking trade publisher. And of course Financial Times, which I'm sure you know. Just to quickly show you how we really fit in. So my team is very well connected actually to the CEO of this large organization, which is great because we got the backing from them. And we fit in actually in a new system, we fit into the product and marketing organization. So previously there was no product and marketing or unified product and marketing organization within Pearson. Now there is, and we're part of what's called the product strategy in Pearson. So I'm 3 levels down from a CEO, which is good. That's an L3, technical term. So when I'm not speaking to John Fallon, our CEO, then I try to adhere to our charter, which is basically looking out in the future and identifying trends and emerging technologies early. Technology that we think will have an impact on Pearson businesses. And again, it's education, it's the FT or Penguin to some degree as well. Okay, and then we use those to develop prototypes and proof of concepts with Pearson businesses in very quick iterations. And essentially we want to show any Pearson business what they can do with these new technologies in the near future, because they don't have the time, the resources, the budget, the interest, frankly. We do that work for them and with them. Just to illustrate, so we're focusing on emerging technologies, technologies that to some may not be or seem relevant, but who have got the potential to hit off very quickly due to changing consumer behaviors, price points dropping, you name it. So we better be out there and prepare the business for those technologies. As to when they become relevant, we have already a head start. They don't have to start from scratch and chase the business. This is who we are, so a very small team in the big, large corporation of about 43,000 people in, I think, 70 countries and about 700 offices around the globe. There's currently 6 of us, and I'm very happy to announce that we got two more people joining us shortly. Essentially, we are a startup, so we've got developers, product managers, and designers in currently 3 locations in New York. I think for the media, you know New York very well. In London, that's where I'm based, and I've got Peter and Aaron, my colleagues here. And then we've got currently just one person, but we're getting a developer for our Beijing office to cater for Asia Pacific. So we try to cover the 3 major geographical areas and time zones. But besides being a little startup, we also matchmakers across these businesses. So by being present in those offices, but also using any means, virtual means, you name it, we connect people with one another. We create networks within the company. People that have never met each other, that have never spoken to each other, but essentially maybe doing a similar or same job even. So we identify those, we matchmake, and we create this big network. In terms of what we do, boils down to 4 categories essentially. One, we do the prototypes. So we spend around about 3 months, sometimes actually less. We do hacks as well for 1 or 2 days. We do short mini projects, about a week or 2, to really just boil down to the essentials of the prototype. We also get our hands on new and emerging hardware, for example, that we get through our partnerships with various companies, big and small as well. And we literally just try them out for a number of days or even a longer period. And we are very vocal on our internet, so we share a lot and I'll talk about it a little bit more. And we lead a few discussion groups on the internet, so we try to instill that interest and also give one sort of destination where people to go and actually seek knowledge and get knowledge for their solutions, probably. And then the fourth point is a champions community. I go into that a little bit later on, but it essentially is a virtual community of digital savvy people, like-minded like us, so they want to help drive Pearson forward in the digital space and transformation. Overall, how we do it, and the picture I think illustrates quite well, we are very open. So open primarily internally, so literally we share everything that we do. We invite people to come and sit with us, work with us for a number of days, weeks, months even, and work with us on these prototypes, for example. Transparent, we share everything on our internet. We go out to the offices. We tell everything that we know in order to give them a bit of a head start, and we collaborate as well. So, as I mentioned, we go and seek partnerships internally. We ask people to join us and work with us for a period of time. And we also travel a lot. So we go out into these 70+ countries and do hands-on sessions where we literally show people the new technology and the prototypes that we built, let them experience them so they understand them, and then usually we find out, oh, actually, this is great, thank you very much, can we have it? In terms of our process, it's pretty straightforward, really. So we either have a brief ourselves, so usually a few times a year we get together the team and say, what are the themes and the trends that we really should be focusing on this year? What should we be doing? So we create a brief ourselves, or we get briefs from the business and from the champions that tell us their future-facing problems. And we have, because we got this problem here that we would like some answers or a solution, ideally. Can you work with us on this? And then we work with them on a concept, and essentially over 3 months or less on a prototype. And obviously that requires some iterations as well. And then after these 3 months or so, we then look to hand off the prototype, but also we share a lot of our learnings. So we document everything we do, especially on the development side, product side, design side, so that the people actually who do the work essentially for the businesses know what they should be doing. And they can take these learnings and don't have to start from scratch. We also share assets, and when I say assets, I mean mainly the code and design, sometimes wireframes is all we really do, and it's always really needed for someone from a business to go to their boss and tell a story and why their project is needed, really. And then in an ideal scenario, then it's happened as well, is where the business are so convinced that they want to test it in the real market, in a pilot, or even we have a very good success story as well, where a business unit decided to actually spin it off in a separate product and business line, which is very nice. Just briefly, some examples of what we did last year. So we tried to vary it as well. So we've got mobile solutions, tablet, mobile phones, new hardware. On the top right here, for example, Leap Motion. I should have brought it maybe to show if anyone's not aware. It's like the size of a Snickers bar, really. And it reads your hand gestures very, very accurately. And you can basically control a UI, for example, very easily. Collaboration with Adaptive Lab, of course, on Let's Code on the bottom right here, which is helping to bring back the spark into computing for kids and in schools as well, by allowing them to very visually learn about computing and basic programming languages. Now onto our champions. So champions, we need them because, as you've seen, we have 6 people currently, 8 hopefully very soon, but Pearson is such a big organization, so we need to reach out to our folks and colleagues across the globe. And we literally spend a lot of time, especially myself, when I started off with Pearson, and finding out those pockets of innovation, but also people who are actually sort of very vocal in terms of how Pearson should be innovating, what you should be doing. And we literally spent some time with them, interviewed them almost, and then decided to bring them into this virtual community of, at the moment, roughly 130 people across the globe and across the lines of business and geographies, right? And we're trying to keep it to this close-knit group because that's what we can actually manage, and also try to keep the noise down. And most important point is, though, for the moment, these people do it outside of their day jobs. So they're publishers, they're educators, ex-teachers, which we are not, and that's why we need them as well, because we're all technologists, but we don't have an educational background. Well, I have to some degree, but we need those people with market and domain knowledge, and they dedicate the time to this community in order to help drive Pearson forward, really. And twice a year, actually, we meet up. At workshops, we bring as many champions in one location now, where we spend time over 2 days really on their future-facing business challenges. So we ask them in advance, what are the challenges that you are likely to face in the near future? And we let them, in groups, work on them. And you see, we give them some nice materials to actually build something tangible, Play-Doh and the likes, but they also start sketching. But we usually start, and one example here with design thinking, so putting it, or addressing the problem from the user's perspective first. Because you probably know, you think you know a solution already to a problem that you may have, but you don't really think about the users. So design thinking is one good framework to do this. And we're basically taking a step back, leave technology out, and let them experience, actually through interviewing, for example, and then starting to sketch the solution to the problem and then actually building it. Success measures, yes, we do have some KPIs. They're not commercial of any kind. It's more about really sharing, as I mentioned, sharing our knowledge and the assets that we create. So people really need sometimes a simple wireframe. They need access to code that they can just grab, built into their own products and services. That's how we measure our success, by the adoption of that. We've also been asked very much actually to come and speak to people and business units and advise them basically on their strategy on new technologies. Accelerated learning means essentially by sharing our knowledge and the documentation, we help them basically speed up their product development. Commercial gain, ideal scenario, of course, we do have some as well where the business actually sees a viable option and actually spins it out to make some money. Innovation recognition, that's what I'm doing tonight. So telling you that Pearson is an innovative company. It's not the old textbook publisher anymore, although textbooks are really good business still. And, and of course, we aim to deliver on time to budget that we have. We have a good budget, but we need to restrict ourselves. And we create quite high quality as well. A bit of a shameless plug here. So Pearson started last year to, as part of opening up, started a program called Catalyst for Education, which is essentially matching up educational startups with Pearson businesses. Again, we asked Pearson businesses for challenges that they need to address, and we find educational startups across the globe and match them and give them 3 months' time, a bit of money, and some mentoring as well. And after the 3 months, they are free to either go separate ways if it doesn't work out, if it doesn't seem viable, or this is one case as well where Pearson invests in a company, right, and brings them into the company actually. So it's a really good opportunity again for Pearson's businesses to leverage the outside, basically startups which could be disruptive to our own business. And that's all I wanted to say.